jail time for axe-wielding man who set UC Berkeley students on fire with a blowtorch. Let's dive into the details, shall we? A man who was found guilty of lighting UC Berkeley students on fire at a boba shop near the Cal campus in 2020 has been released from custody without prison time or probation after agreeing to participate in a diversion program for veterans, court records show. In late April, according to the records reviewed by the Berkeley Scanner, Brandon McClone was convicted of multiple felonies in connection with the boba shop attack, as well as felony assault and gun charges from a separate domestic violence case. The resolution to the case was the result of a plea deal between the Alameda County District Attorney's Office and the Public Defender's Office. As a result of the deal, McClone was referred to Veterans Treatment Court according to Alameda County Superior Court records. If he completes that program, Judge James Kramer said during the April 28th hearing, the cases against McClone would be dismissed. He must successfully engage in and complete whatever course of therapy is prescribed by the treatment team and abide by whatever conditions are set forth, Kramer said. If he fails to do so, he could be terminated from the Veterans Treatment Court program and sentence will be imposed. The scanner did not attend the hearings described in the article, but reviewed court transcripts to put the story together. As per the plea deal, McClone could be sent to prison for up to 8 years if he is unable to complete the diversion program. If he manages to get through 18 months of treatment before being removed from the program, the judge noted McClone could be placed on felony probation instead of being sent to prison. The September 14, 2020 incident at the boba shop attracted attention around the Bay Area, in part because of dramatic surveillance video from the shop that was posted online after the event. The video is now private. During the preliminary hearing in January, witnesses linked McClone to arson fires outside 2 Southside businesses on September 14, 2020, and described several disturbing interactions on Durant Avenue between McClone and community members before events culminated at the local boba shop. According to court testimony, McClone told a man sitting at the Durant Avenue parklet that he wanted to light someone on fire, saying, "If I don't get to see my family tonight, someone else doesn't get to see their family tonight, and I choose you." How is this guy not in prison? The man testified that he had been sitting in the parklet outside Artichoke Basil's Pizza on the corner of Durant Avenue and Bowditch Street when he noticed McClone bothering some students nearby. "I lived in Berkeley my whole life. I have seen plenty of crazy people and homeless people and stuff," he said, "but this one struck me as different. It seemed dangerous." Then McClone walked up to the man while holding a can of WD-40 in one hand and a lighter in the other, he testified. At some point, McClone began chasing the man down Durant and sprayed him with WD-40, according to testimony. Another man also ran from McClone to escape being set on fire after being sprayed with the liquid while waiting in line at Taco Bell Cantina, according to testimony. That's why you gotta, if nothing else, carry pepper spray. McClone's next stop was Fang Sha Tea House at 2528 Durant Avenue, where he found students waiting in line to order food and drinks. He sprayed 2 of them with WD-40 and used a lighter to ignite the gas, creating a massive fireball, witnesses said. The students managed to pat out the flames and escape injury. Members of their group then confronted McClone and fought him with him in the street. During the fight, according to testimony, McClone first pulled out a knife and then pulled out a hatchet. When police arrived, they were able to take him into custody without much trouble. When he was arrested, according to court papers, McClone was in possession of matches, 2 lighters, clothing that smelled of gasoline, a can of WD-40, and 4 glass bottles filled with gasoline, subsequently identified as Molotov cocktails. The defense has argued that the arson evidence against McClone was weak and that the fires didn't cause much damage, and also that no one sustained any burns or injuries related to the boba shop attack. From the research I saw for some photos, that is not true. This was a result of a very dark time, a very bad time for Mr. McClone. His defense attorney, Deputy Public Defender Emily Klein, said towards the end of the hearing in January. Why? Because he can't see his wife and daughter, which he did to himself, but we'll get into that later. The victims in this case were college students trying to get something to eat. Prosecutor Sean Flynn countered, and they were subjected to something that was undeserving and pretty horrific, some extreme levels of violence. Then, coupled with the various weapons and items Mr. McClone had on his person throughout this incident, I think we're fortunate that nobody was more seriously hurt. Yeah, and he wasn't even allowed to carry a gun because previous events, but we'll get into that also. The judge ultimately held McClone to answer in January on all of the charges against him, which included arson, criminal threats, several counts of assault with caustic chemicals, and possession of a destructive device. I'm grateful no one else was seriously hurt, including you, because it could have ended very differently, Judge Jennifer Madden told McClone. In addition to the boba shop attack, McClone had also been charged with felonies related to a domestic violence case in Berkeley from September 1st, 2020, 2 weeks before the disturbance on Durant Avenue. In that incident, police said he attacked his wife, striking her repeatedly with a pistol and punched her in the face. He then fled the scene, leaving her with an open head wound, according to court papers. In a hearing last year, the woman, who is a school teacher, testified about what happened that day. McClone had agreed to bring over groceries, but showed up empty-handed. She said the two were still married with an 11-year-old daughter, but did not live together. McClone then accused her out of the blue of being a prostitute, she said. She was taken aback and first thought he was joking because it had been such a ridiculous comment. The woman said McClone became irate when she laughed. He insisted she was in a prostitute ring with two of her friends. At that point, she testified, I realized he was serious and I got really scared. She said McClone was volatile and had been very volatile for quite some time, which contributed to her fear. That feeling grew when she realized he had a gun on him, she said. McClone was not allowed to own or use guns at the time because of a conviction for federal bank robbery in 1999, according to charging papers. So 1999, he robbed a bank. Why did they not give this guy prison time? He just sounds like a lifelong criminal. The woman testified that McClone then choked her and pushed her against a wall on the porch, which was near their daughter's bedroom. The girl had come out to greet McClone when he'd arrived minutes earlier, but then he'd told her to go back inside. McClone's wife testified that she didn't know how long he held her there. It was the longest, scariest thing that has ever happened to me, she said. So time, I don't know. Then he punched her in the face and told her to shut up over and over as she repeated, oh my God, she said. He said he didn't want their daughter to hear what was happening. Then McClone pulled out the gun, she said, and pointed it at her face just 2 inches away. The black Glock had an Air Force logo on it and was McClone's favorite gun, she said. As she looked down the barrel, she said she thought she was going to die. She also testified that although she is not very religious, she prayed to God in those moments to take care of her daughter. This is just sick. I just looked away from the gun and looked up at the sky because I didn't want to see it coming, she said. If I was going to die, I wanted to be looking up at the sky and wanted to be praying for my child. Then McClone struck her twice in the head, she said, splitting open her scalp. She described it as a tactical double tap and said McClone had always told her that you do things twice when you're doing tactical military things. McClone then fled the scene and the woman ran inside. She locked the door and started screaming. She felt terror, she said, and her head felt like it was on fire. Her daughter found her bleeding on the floor. Initially, the girl began to go outside to ask her father for help. I told her, "No, baby, he did this," her mother testified. "I told her to call 911. After police arrived, the woman was taken to the hospital, and an officer found the gun with the Air Force logo discarded in a nearby green bin, she said. At the end of the hearing, which took place in September of 2022, Judge Delia Trevino held McClone to answer in connection with the felony domestic violence causing great bodily injury, assault with a firearm, and a number of other felony charges related to the case. So even after all this, the guy's free right now. It's insane. According to court papers, McClone is an Air Force veteran who worked as an EMT after being honorably discharged from the military. He went to help on the ground after Hurricane Katrina and was a defense contractor in Afghanistan and Iraq who served multiple tours. He also worked as a medic, according to the Public Defender's Office. I don't know. I don't want to accuse the guy of even more stuff, but considering his track record, I think he went down to Katrina, to Afghanistan, and Iraq for alternative motives. McClone's service resulted in PTSD and substance abuse, for which he has sought and participated in treatment, the defense argued in a recent motion. Well, it doesn't seem like it's helping much. During the hearing in April, Judge Kramer said there would be a 10-year protective order prohibiting any contact between McClone and his wife and daughter. He also issued stay-away orders in connection with 9 other people, as well as several locations in Berkeley and Oakland. Yeah, like he follows any of these orders. He was supposed to have a gun either. That didn't matter to him. As a result of the plea deal, McClone entered no contest pleas to charges of assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a destructive device, and 3 counts of assault with caustic chemicals, as well as assault with a firearm and carrying a loaded firearm in connection with the DV case. All the other criminal charges and clauses that had been filed against him were dropped as part of the deal. Sentencing would be postponed for 2 years, Judge Kramer explained, with the cases to be dismissed at that time upon successful completion of the treatment program. Kramer said the protective orders would remain in effect no matter what happened with the diversion program. He also ruled that McClone will still not be allowed to own or use guns, ammunition, or any deadly or dangerous weapons. They already told him he couldn't do this, and he just went and did it anyway. But okay, no, let's just keep that in place and hope for the best, I suppose. In closing remarks, the judge also observed that the court's referral to the diversion program was not in itself a guarantee. If McClone was ultimately not accepted into treatment, "I'll rip all those papers up and we'll be back at square one," Kramer said from the bench. As of this week, McClone, who is now 49 years old, is no longer in custody according to court records. After he did that to his wife and to these people, and he robbed a bank in 1999, and he's not even insane. He is armed robbery of a bank, no less. He is scheduled to appear in court on June 2nd for a status hearing in Veterans Treatment Court. According to the Veterans Treatment Court website, the program is designed to help veterans who are dealing with PTSD, alcoholism, military sexual trauma, and other issues. This program connects veterans with the benefits they have earned in service to our country. This program helps veterans change their lives and gain legal relief. The guy's 50 years old. This isn't going to help him. He's crazy. He robs a bank 20 years ago, right? And then he beats his wife, and then he can't see his wife. So he's just like, okay, I can't see my family because of stuff that I did. And if I don't get to see them, someone else isn't going to be able to see their family tonight either. That is just sick. That's psychopathic. What is treatment going to do? Put him in prison so he can't hurt anybody else? I can pretty much guarantee you this is not the end of this guy's criminal story. I think there could be a lot of other bad stuff. And I don't know. It's like this legal system has to be changed for when judges let people go that do more crazy stuff. They should be held accountable. I don't know. It's tricky though, because you don't want everyone getting sentenced to really harsh penalties because of some other people. You know, because if someone is innocent or first time offender or whatever, and they're like 22, you don't want them getting more stricter stuff because of what this guy did. But I mean, violent crimes are violent crimes. How do you not at least get prison, some amount of prison time for guaranteed violent crimes? And the article kept saying, according to court papers and all this, I don't know about the situation with his wife, but all of this stuff was all caught on camera, all of it. So like allegedly or whatever, no, it all happened. There's footage of him lighting the people on fire, chasing people, pulling the hatchet out. There's footage of this, and then going towards the people until the police arrived. The guy's crazy. You know, veterans treatment, I don't understand what they think this is going to do to help anybody. I really don't. It just seems like political optics to me. That's all it seems like. These prosecutors never want to prosecute anybody. Well, the prosecutor it wasn't even his fault. He was actually trying to push for it. It was the judge's fault in this situation. Just craziness. But what is your opinion of the story? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for daily news updates, hit that notification bell, and share this video to help spread the news. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.